Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karen. I make bookish and college related videos, and it has been a while since I last made a video, so I was like, you know what, we are going to do just a little update. And I was like, what better ways to do an update video than to combine all of my favorite quarantine hobbies into one. So I'm going to embroider this tote bag. So I started embroidering this like janky little rainbow. It's so cute though, so I started embroidering that. That's something I picked up. I've also created a bunch of earrings for an Etsy shop that my friend Taylor and I created. Here are some of the earrings. I think my favorite pair right now are these. I will link everything in the description down below if you want to check that out. But I have a lot of different bookish and college related updates that I just wanted to touch on into one video because it has been a while since I made a sat down video. So I'm going to be embroidering down here. I don't know what I'm going to make. Ooh, I should figure that out. Anyway, like I said, this is just going to be a very like informal update, sit down talking video. So go grab a snack, sit down, relax, or you can just play this video in the background while you clean up your room or something. Whatever floats your boat. So the first bookish update that I want to touch on is that I am part of a book club called We Read Women of Color Book Club, and it's an entire club dedicated to reading books by women and non-binary people of color. And our first book was actually Homegoing by Yasi. We had a really great discussion on this first book, and I really appreciated how vulnerable everyone was and how willing everyone was to share their side of the story and their experiences. Also, I have this leadership position in the book club where I'm an interview lead, and so that basically means that whenever we have people for workshops and interview opportunities, I will be the one doing the research on the person and asking questions and like getting to know them for our book club. So I will put everything in the link down below on where you can join, how you can join, what books you're reading. And if you want to go your own pace, you can definitely pick up Homegoing and join our Slack community and answer the questions on your own, and people will probably start a thread and answer with you. Also, something that I wanted to touch on is that I think in my last video, I talked about how I definitely was going to be reading more this summer, and I think the fact that quarantine had started pushed that idea. And I was in a reading slump from like April to June, and I absolutely hated it. But it wasn't until the Black Lives Matter movement started picking up again, where I wanted to take the time to like sit down and educate myself and really like start reading books by people of color, people of marginalized communities, because really books by cis white gendered men have kind of been boring to me recently. But yeah, the first book that I picked up, I'll talk a little bit more about this later, is Between the World and Me, and I am going to be picking up The Warmth of Other Suns, which is about the Great Migration, and I'm so excited to be reading these. Another bookish update is that I like need money. So I am going to be selling a lot of books on my Depop. I already have a bunch listed, and I'm going to be listing that link down below. But here, ignore the pile of trash, but I cleared off my bookshelf a little bit, and so the bottom, wait, what? Oh yeah, so the bottom 3 shelves are books that I don't care to have anymore. Follow me on my TikTok. You may know that when I hit 10K followers, I do want to do a book giveaway. Anyway, with that being said, I do have some new goals when it comes to reading books. I definitely want to be more intentional with my reading. I want to read stories and amplify voices from people within marginalized communities. I find that people from these communities have a lot more to say, and we can learn a lot more. And I just find my time reading books a lot more valuable when I can learn something and apply that to the real world and help educate others. So those are really like the bookish updates that I have. Also, I really need to stop like buying books too. Last bookish update, I also, in terms of like being intentional with my reading, I want to be intentional where I get my books. And so I love the public library. And so I really need to start utilizing the public library more, especially since I have 3 library cards. I'm literally a member of 3 different library systems, and I barely use them. My goal is to use these library cards more. And also, if I do purchase books, then I want to purchase books from like Black owned bookstores. I'm all for supporting small businesses and Black owned businesses, and businesses owned by people of color. Now we're gonna get into my college updates. I need to go a little slower because I'm really talking fast. I literally forgot how to socialize and talk to people. But anyway, I'm trying to embroider at the same time, so this isn't helping. Okay, so college updates. So the fall semester is still in session. I'm not surprised that the fall semester is in session. I was listening to a podcast by Sam Sanders. It's literally called It's Been a Minute with Sam Sanders. And he had a guest on, I think she was a professor from a university in North Carolina, and she was saying that even for schools like Harvard and Princeton, like big name schools, even just 1 year of closing down, there would be catastrophic damages financially to the institution. And so imagine what it's like for small colleges. And so that puts things into perspective for me and makes me realize, oh, that is why tuition isn't going to be half the price that it is. This is why they're still pushing for on-campus learning in the fall. So the plan is that we are going to be in person in the fall, and then we won't have a fall break, but we will go all the way up until Thanksgiving week, and then Thanksgiving week is the last week of classes. But if they do announce that the fall semester is going to be online last minute, my friends and I will be getting an apartment together because I very much would rather be with my friends right now. And I think a lot of other college students can say the same. Okay, so I'm outlining mountains on this thing now. I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really draw that well, so. But there are a lot of health and safety updates being implemented, and so one of the updates that, like, I totally understand, but it makes me so sad, is that the dining hall is going to be a little bit more spaced out, and if you are a Connie or an incoming one, then you would know that Big Sociologist is a big tradition, and I'm on the class council for junior year, and it's already looking a little different, and it made me very sad when I had to learn about that. So a lot of changes are coming, but I think they're good changes for our attempt to be back in person in the fall. If the campus goes online in the fall, I feel like I will be definitely vlogging all of that, because my video where I talked about a day in the life of a history major, that video did really well. And so I really want to do another one of those and like reconnect with others. But speaking of history major, I changed my major. I didn't really want to talk about this, but I was like, you know what, I've been so transparent about my college journey so far, why not? Basically, I'm no longer a biology major. So if you didn't know, I declared a biology and history double major with the intent of going into public health as a career. And I think the great thing about going to a small liberal arts college is that you really have the opportunity to explore everything that you want to do, and you get to connect with people, and you really get to learn a lot about yourself in a short period of time with the help of a really small student to faculty ratio. And so I absolutely love my professors, and they were all so supportive, because I emailed both my history and biology professor in one email, and I was like, so I'm dropping bio, what should I do now? But they were so kind about it. My bio professor was basically like, Karen, I totally understand. While I am sad and I think you make a great biology student, I gotta let you go with what you want to do, with what your heart desires, you know? And that kind of made me cry. I am technically a history major and bio minor because I have so many bio credits. I was like, I can't let these go to waste. And so I thought it'd be best to declare a bio minor. And as of right now, I don't know if I still want to go into public health. And just looking at the world, how it is right now with the whole public health crisis, with the coronavirus, it seems like public health would be a great career to go into. I don't know if I can do that to myself, really. And I recognize that my education at Converse is such a privilege, and it's such a privilege to be able to choose what you want to study. You know, some people don't even get that option. And so I am just a history major, and I absolutely love the idea of just taking classes where every class is story time. That's literally what being a history major is like. And ever since I posted that video on the day in the life of a history major, it's one of my more popular videos, and I've connected with a few different people because of that video, and I absolutely love it. And I've been connecting more with women in history. I joined this private Facebook group, and it's all like undergraduate and graduate students and professionals and people with doctorate degrees within the history fields. And it's just absolutely amazing to see like the support from different women in the community, and I definitely want to keep that like momentum going, you know. But yeah, I dropped my bio major, and it wasn't like I was good at biology. Like I did fine in my classes. It's just I was just losing interest in it. And I think for a very, very long time I forced myself to go the STEM route even when I didn't want to, because that's just what everyone was pushing for at the time. Everyone was like, we need more women in STEM. If you're good in STEM, you should like continue to do it. Honestly, if I had it my way, I would live a life where I didn't have to work. And I know you would too. Too long, didn't listen. I basically just went with what made me happy and what I can see myself doing. Also, just to like manifest and put it out there, I would love to grow up and live like near a beach for the rest of my life and just do whatever it is that makes me happy. Talking to some folks about this, but the biggest difference between Gen Z and I think any other generation is that a lot of us don't fall into that capitalistic mindset where we need to have this dream job, but rather we look and say, I want to do something that makes me happy. I want to do something that provides me comfort or provides me flexibility. Like we're more idealistic in that sense, and I've definitely fallen more into that mindset. And so I don't have a dream job or anything right now, and I think that's perfectly okay. Where's this drink? I have a little bit of time, and my friends and I, we have this dream of moving to Hawaii and going to grad school there. And I'm just gonna say this now, UH Manoa has all sorts of different graduate programs that I would be interested in. Okay, so this is an update. Here are the mountains. They actually look kind of good on camera. Oh my gosh, I did not think that was gonna look good at all. Wow, I'm shook. That actually looks kind of good though. I think those are like all of the like actual updates that I have. So I want to talk a little bit more about the recent reads that I have gone through and what I hope to go through. So the first book that I got into was Between the World and Me by, who's this? Ta-Nehisi Coates. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. From what I remember, it was a very short and quick read, but it took me a really long time to get through because I was coming out of a reading slump, but I did want something short and related to the experience of being a Black person in America. And so I was recommended this book, and I absolutely loved it from what I can remember. So basically this book is a series of letters that the author wrote to his son about his experiences being Black in America. And I really enjoyed how I feel like this writing style and everything was very accessible. It was really easy to read while you're in a reading slump, but in terms of the content, very, very well written. And the next book that I picked up was Homegoing for the book club read. I read this book really, really, really fast because I totally left this book to the last minute. I finished this with 15 minutes left to spare before meeting our book club meeting. The story starts out with two half-sisters that don't know about each other. They were both born in the same village in Ghana, I believe. And so each chapter follows a descendant of Efia or a descendant of Essie, and it's a very beautiful book. This is what I'm going for right here, but I can't tell if they're the same color or not. I really enjoyed Homegoing, and I enjoyed all of the different themes and topics that we talked about in our book discussion. And if this first book club meeting was any indicator of what the rest of our meetings are going to be like, then I am looking forward to the rest of the book club meetings. And we haven't chosen our next book yet, so I'm waiting for that to come out. I started picking up Frankenstein. Like I literally only read a page and then I fell asleep. But the thing is, I have never read, not that I've never read, I don't read classics. I think it's because I've always been intimidated by classics, and that I've always just, I don't know, I've always wanted to read books that are comfortable to me. And for the longest time, that was young adult fiction and nonfiction books, not necessarily classics. And Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein, I just have a lot of random like random facts of Mary Shelley and Mary Wollstonecraft, because I read this book called Romantic Outlaws, and I have a video like book review on my channel from a while back. But I read this book called Romantic Outlaws, and it was a biography of Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley, and I absolutely love how that author paralleled the lives of both Marys, despite the fact that they were mother and daughter and have never met each other. I've been so intimidated to read Frankenstein this whole time, and so I finally purchased it so that I would like read it, you know. And this is all just me trying to say that I really do want to read more classics. And I watched I watched the Artisan Geeks. See, I only know everyone by their username and not their name, so I need to learn everyone's name. She has a few different videos on like classic literature and stuff like that, and so it inspired me to pick up classic literature, but I also want to pick up classics from various countries and expand beyond just white classics that I have in my head. And then there's this book called The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson, and it's basically a story, or it touches on the Great Migration. I hope to learn a lot about that. I'm taking a African American history class in the fall, and so if anything, I did not just do that. But if anything, I definitely want to read a lot more history books in the next few weeks or in the next couple of months. I don't know what this YouTube channel is going to be like once I get back to school, but I feel like since I'm no longer a bio major, I have a lot more time. So I really do hope that I etched out a lot more time in my schedule to make more time for myself and just really do things that I want to do, you know. Anyway, here's an update. I started on the sunny part of the mountains, but this video is 30 minutes long and I'm gonna have a heck of a time editing it later. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this little update and that, I don't know, this video reminds you to do what makes you happy. But check out all of the links in my description box down below. I have my Depop, my TikTok, my Instagram. Also, I changed my Instagram, like my private Instagram name, to my Bookish one because I was really tired of keeping up with 2 different Instagram accounts, so I just combined the 2. So if you followed me on my book Instagram, I deleted you because I just needed to get rid of that account. So anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of your day and go do something for yourself today because you deserve it. Bye everyone.